In this lesson, we'll cover the extend and trim command. Now, there are several extend and trim commands inside of Revit. Some let you extend and trim single items. Another command lets you extend and trim multiple items. There's also a command that allows you to make corner trims or corners, extending and trimming elements to a point. On the model on my screen right now, I have several walls, and some of these walls either need to be extended or some need to be trimmed. And we're going to first look at extending a wall. So on the left side of my shape or my space, I have a wall with an opening. But I would like to extend the horizontal wall where my mouse is at all the way over to the left vertical wall. To do that, I'm going to use the extend trim command for a singular element. On the ribbon, go to the Modify tab. Then on the Modify panel, select Trim Extend Single Element. The first thing Revit's going to want you to do is pick a boundary edge you're extending to. So I'm going to extend to the left vertical wall. So I'll select one side or the other side. In this case, I'm going to pick the inside of that vertical wall. Go ahead and pick it. After you do that, Revit is now going to ask you, what do you want to extend? So I'm going to move my mouse over the horizontal wall. Once you do, you see a dashed line extending it out. If that's what you want, go ahead and left-click that wall. That wall is then extended and cleaned up as it intersects the other wall on the left. Notice you're still in the trim command. To exit out of this, simply hit the Escape key or click the Modify button in the upper left. Now, trimming. The wall to the right, the horizontal wall, I can see it extends through the vertical wall on the right, and I want to trim off the piece that's to the right of that wall where my mouse is at. So to do this, I can use the same command. So back on the Modify tab in the Modify panel, choose Trim Extend Single Element. Just like we did in the previous example, let's select the boundary edge. Except this time, this is going to be the trimming edge, where you're trimming. And I'm going to choose the right of the vertical wall. Go ahead and select it. Now, in the trim command in Revit, you pick next what you want to keep. So the part of the wall, the horizontal wall that is, that I want to keep is going to be the piece to the left of that boundary line I just chose. So I'll move my mouse over that part of the line. I see the dashed line appear and go ahead and left click it. I keep that piece and the other part of the wall beyond the other boundary line is now deleted. Again, I'm still in the command. Hit the Escape key to exit the command. Now, on the very bottom of this model, I have two more walls that extend to the outside, and I need to trim those walls. Once again, you could use the same command and execute it twice, but Revit has a command to allow you to do multiple trims or multiple extends in one step. To do that, let's select, again from the Modify tab, Modify panel, choose the Trim Extend Multiple Elements button. Same as last time, let's choose the boundary edge that's going to do the trimming. Choose the right of the vertical wall. And now Revit wants you to pick or window select the elements that you want to trim. Now, since this is a multiple trim command, I can make a selection window around the elements that I want to trim off. So to do that, hold the left mouse button down in an open area and drag your mouse. And what'll happen is you actually create that selection window. It'll highlight the elements that you're going to keep within the trim. And then once you release the mouse, it keeps those elements and trims off everything to the other side of the boundary. Just like in the previous command, you're still in the command. To exit, hit the Escape key or the Modify key. Now, let's say we need to make a corner, or we need to trim two elements, two walls in this case, at a 90-degree corner. For example, on the very top, I have this horizontal wall on the right, and I want to extend it and trim it into this vertical wall in the middle. So to do that, I'm going to use a third command, again on the Modify tab, Modify panel. This one is Trim Extend to Corner. Go ahead and select that. For this command, pick the two elements I just highlighted. Choose the vertical wall in the middle, then pick the horizontal wall on the right. Once you mouse over it, you see the dashed line appear, showing me where it's going to be extended and then trimmed into the other walls. Go ahead and pick it. And you see those two walls now are extended and trimmed and cleaned up with the other walls. And lastly, you're still in the command, so to exit out of the command, hit the escape key. So in this lesson, we looked at different ways to trim and extend walls or beams or other linear objects inside of Revit. We looked at trimming and extending single walls, singular linear objects. We also looked at how to do a multiple trim, and we also looked at how to corner trim or corner extend objects into a 90-degree angle or whatever angle they meet at in a corner.